Oh, what is the X-Ies, everybody? Welcome to the season finale of the GX Gamercast. This is the 2024 X-Ies Awards, my yearly award show going through all of the games that I played in 2024. Every game that I played is in contention for the awards, not just games that came out in 2024. So it's going to be a little bit different than some other, well, I would imagine it's going to be very different from everyone else's awards. And this year I played a total of 60 different video games with a few replays thrown in there. So yeah, I feel like a pretty productive year, I would say. And we're going to go through a handful of awards, I believe 13 awards. Most of them are video game related. Two are, I do one for movie and one for TV shows because I watch a lot of TV shows and movies, and I would like to discuss some of those. But before we get into all the awards, let's talk about what I've been up to over the last roughly 2 weeks since the last time I've done one of these. So yeah, we got some catching up to do, y'all. Let's talk about some movies. Let's talk about yet another horror movie. We got Long Legs. Oh yeah, man. This one I was pretty hyped about when I heard this one get announced. Well, not announced, but when it came out, people were high on this movie. They were calling it Silence of the Butterflies, or no, Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Butterflies. Silence of the Lambs, and I love that movie. I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, damn, dude, I have not experienced suspense on that level, and it was fantastic. Love it. So I heard that, and yeah, it has Nicolas Cage in it, and he is playing Long Legs, the murderer or serial killer in this movie. It's a murder mystery type of movie, and it's got a very unique main lead character, the female character. Yeah, she's got some very interesting character. Kind of a creepy-ass movie. I wouldn't say that it scared me, but there was some creepy imagery. My problem with the movie that I knew I was going to have is Nicolas Cage. Now, I'm not saying he had a bad performance. Not at all. He was actually really good as playing a really kind of deranged, psychotic killer. And but the only thing was there's a couple scenes in it where I can't not be like, yo, this is just kind of Nicolas Cage doing what Nicolas Cage does. There's like a scene in the car after he was in a store and he had like a weird experience with a female in the store, and he's just like screaming in his car, and I'm just like, this feels like they just put the camera on him and he just yelled a bunch of words in Nicolas Cage fashion. I was like, all right. Took me out of it a little bit, but overall, pretty freaking solid ass movie right there. Now, it didn't hit the Silence of the Lambs level for me. It's a very, very high bar. I mean, one of the best movies ever made. But hey, if you like Silence of the Lambs, you like a good horror, suspense, murder, mystery situation, this was pretty nice, man. And it's got a pretty wild ending, pretty weird. I actually kind of ended up watching this one twice because I kind of dozed off at the end. Talked to my wife about it. She got interested, so I watched it again with her. And yeah, it was a good movie. I ended up watching it twice. But 7 out of 10 for Long Legs. And let's do a Christmas themed stuff. I got a couple of new Christmas movies that came out this year that I watched. Starting with Dear Santa. This is the one with Jack Black in it. And the kid accidentally writes to Satan instead of Santa, and then shenanigans ensue. And that's actually a pretty solid flick, man. It was semi-recommended by a friend, and she was like, yo, there was a part, she was like, it hit the feels, and when I got to that part in the movie, I knew exactly what she was talking about. Didn't make me cry or anything, but I was just like, aw, and it was a nice movie, man. I enjoyed Jack Black. There's a freaking hilarious cameo in it. When you get there, it's just like, oh, of course, and then, yeah, it's a good cameo. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. It was silly, the dyslexia kind of thing that the kid has. That's why he writes the wrong word. I didn't even really realize that for a little while. But anyway, it was a solid, fun Christmas movie. I enjoyed it. 6.5 out of 10 for Dear Santa. And then we watched the other one, Red One. And this one I was excited for because it's got J.K. Simmons. That's the guy who's like, I need more pictures of Spider-Man. And I love that guy. He's in Whiplash. I love him. And not my favorite movie. Definitely didn't like it as much as Dear Santa. This one's more action oriented. It's got The Rock in it, and there's a ton of CGI that not really a fan of. A lot of it didn't look very good. The polar bear was just a massive disappointment. I was hoping for a totally different character, and it just wasn't the character I wanted. The Rock is The Rock. He's the same guy that he is in every movie. He plays an elf that's 6'5" and 290 pounds of pure muscle. Makes a lot of sense. Regardless, it had moments, a couple of giggles here and there. Very disappointed in the lack of J.K. Simmons in this movie. He plays Santa, and he looks very, very good. Got jacked, but not enough of him in the movie. He's kidnapped, so he's like barely in the movie, and when you see him, he's mostly asleep. So yeah, not as much J.K. Simmons as I would have liked, but not a bad movie, just not really for me. 5.5. 5.5. And then I'm still rocking Arcane Season 2. I am on the season finale now. And damn, dude. Some really wild stuff going on in Arcane Season 2. We're ramping up for a big finale. I can't wait to watch it. And yeah, man, it's a really good show. It's sadly didn't crack into my favorite TV shows of the year. There's a good possibility that I rewatch it with a friend. He's been talking about it. He needs to watch season 2, but doesn't have Netflix, so might rewatch it with him and see what happens. But I like the show. There were points where I just wasn't paying attention that much, and I don't know. It didn't draw me in all the way, but the action scenes are ridiculous. I love the music, and the look of the show obviously is great. But character-wise, they're solid. I really like Powder, or whatever the fuck her other name is. V's alright. She's kind of the... Anyway, but yeah, I like in season 2 of Arcane. It sucks that it's going to be the end of it, but they'll move on to something else. And yeah, so that's all the stuff that I've been watching, and let's talk about some video games. Oh my goodness. So I got back to God of War Valhalla, so I did that, beat Valhalla. It was superb. Absolutely superb. Just solidifies my score on God of War Ragnarok. I did the review on it last week. You can go back and listen to that. That game is spectacular, and they released Valhalla for free, and what a fantastic addition, man. The callbacks to old God of War, man, some of those flashbacks, the things that you see are unreal, and the fighting, damn, it's like the roguelite thing. Now, it's very, very light. It was very easy for me. I played some very hard roguelites in my time, and this one's honestly, if you're new to it or a little bit scared of roguelites or something, this is a good one to try out first. It was not very hard. I did not die throughout it. There's times it'll just stop you and you have to go back and kind of die, but yeah, man, it was fun. You could go through the trials, and you pick perks, and you get all your shit is reset, and you pick a weapon to focus on, and you picking up perks along the way, and yeah, man, it was a very fun, creative way to get me into the combat again, because I'm the God of War combat is great. It's not my favorite. It grows on you. The more that you play it, the more you get engaged with the combat, and the more combos you learn, the better it gets. So this just kind of got me back into it, experiencing more different moves that I didn't use as much in the regular game, and I focused on them more. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I enjoyed that. The kind of boss fights that you're getting in Valhalla are wicked, super fun, and yeah, the story was awesome as well. Very nice cherry on top of the unbelievable God of War Ragnarok Sunday that it is. So that was awesome, and then the God of War itch continued. I played God of War Ascension, and I beat that son bitch too. Went back, I wanted to try an older God of War, the old style God of War before the 2018, reboot. And yeah, it's very safe to say that the reboot was needed, and my goodness, what a change it was for God of War, man. I love the old games, don't get me wrong. Special place in my heart for those old button mashing-y fucking quick time event God of War games. Oh yeah, but when you come off of God of War Ragnarok and then you go back, you're okay, I completely understand why they did this. My wife would think otherwise. She loves the old-style God of War games. They're much more her style, and she liked the 2018 God of War, but she hates the open-world stuff. Regardless, I did Ascension. It was very much old school God of War. Button mashing. I got the chains. I'm doing my thing. I'm ripping people in half. It was spectacular. A little samey. The puzzles were okay. The music was unbelievable. Music in Ascension was insane. My goodness. Back to the Sparta style. So I don't think I'm going to continue playing more God of War games. I'll take a break. Don't want to burn myself out because they will burn you out. I've made that mistake in the past. But, yeah, dude, God of War Ascension, there was a part in that game that, holy fuck, was that ever hard. I almost didn't beat the game. There's these trials you got to do late in the game, and it's like very violent difficulty spike. Like, holy shit. You got to go through, like, you're just fighting waves of enemies, like very hard enemies, no checkpoint, no health, and you just got to fucking survive. And I finally did it, and yeah, beat the game. It was solid. It was a really good, well, more than solid. It was a very good time. Music ridic. Looked really good, too. I streamed this one on the PlayStation Plus thingy, and this time around it went very well. I did this before with Star Wars Force Unleashed, and it was fucking chugging. The graphics went to potato level, back up to regular, back to potato. It was it hampered my experience a little bit with that game, and this time around with God of War, barely anything. It ran smooth the whole time. I even had a hockey game streaming on Sportsnet. My wife was watching stuff upstairs, and it was fine. I fucking pressure tested it, and I was thoroughly impressed. PlayStation even asked me how my experience was. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I was rather impressed. Very, actually, seriously impressed. So that was good. At points, the game gets very crazy. A lot of shit going on, and yeah, dude, they must have improved it or something, or Star Wars Force Unleashed just ran like shit. Dunno, but good ass time right there with Ascension. I lost my train of thought earlier. I found it. I wanted to go back and start the timeline of God of War games from the beginning, and it starts with Ascension. So bam, I'm at Ascension. I hooked up my PS3 again, and I got the God of War PSP game HD collection. I want to get into those, and I'll tell you about something else that I got here in a moment. But God of War Ascension, beat that bitch. The only thing that pissed me off is the story didn't make. I had no idea, like, where we were, what the relevation, like, I have no idea what the fuck was going on with that story. You're, like, chained up by harpies or some, whatever the fuck, you get out, and then you get chained up. I didn't get the story. I'm an idiot, though, but it was fun. 7.5 out of 10 for God of War Ascension. And then, oh baby, got into this one. This one just makes it into the deadline for this year's X-Ies, and I haven't finished it yet, but I'm like 80+%, so I've gotten my feel for the game, and that is Indiana Jones on Xbox. And hell yeah, baby, I am an Indiana Jones fan. I love the first movie. I love the third movie. I like the fourth movie. I really like the latest one. I thought it was really good, and I really don't like Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom is probably my least favorite one, but 3, Raiders of the Lost... Wait, is that what it's called? Raiders of the Last Crusade? That's like one of my favorite movies all time, bro. Fucking, what's his face? Sean Connery? Oh, my goodness. But the game, wow, does it ever capture Indiana Jones, man? I am impressed. The music is excellent. I love they've nailed that theme of Indiana Jones. It feels like you're playing the movie, the way that the game is flowing, and like the mixture of funny and action and a little bit of scary, and just man, they nailed the feel of Indiana Jones. The gameplay is pretty good, man. It's actually pretty good. It didn't preview well this game, but it's reviewing very well, and I'm there with them with like that. I'm sitting at like an 8.5. We'll see how it sticks the landing, but I'm sitting at a very strong 8 right now. If it hits the landing very, very strongly, I could push it to an 8.5. But yeah, dude, it's a little bit stealthy. The fighting is a little wonky, but it's funny. It's kind of fun. And the stealth is good. The puzzles, I've gotten stumped a couple of times where I'm just like, I have no fucking idea. But yeah, dude, I'm very impressed. Very happy that Xbox gets a win here, even though it is coming out on PlayStation next year. But yo, Xbox needed this. and I'm so happy that it actually hit. And yeah, bring on the Indiana Jones games, baby. I'm ready for more, and I'm having a blast with this game right here. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out, dude. If you got Game Pass, what are you doing? Download this bitch. It's a lot of fun. And what else we got? Let's talk. Oh, yep. All right, let's talk about, I got some Christmas buys here. So I purchased myself a couple of things for Christmas, because here in Canada, we're doing a little no tax thing, and I want to take advantage of that because there's no tax on video games. And taxes on video games in Canada, ridiculous. So I bought a couple of video games. I got a PS3 game and a PS5 game. So let's start with the PS5 game. Pretty simple, Spider-Man 2. Bought that. Gotta play that. Can't wait. That'll be one of the early ones that I hit up in 2025. I'll be getting into that Spider-Man 2 action. Cannot wait. So bought that one. And I got the Silent Hill HD collection on PlayStation 3. I looked it up on Amazon. Bam, it's there. Prime day, next day delivery. I'm like, are you shitting me on a PlayStation 3 game? I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get that. I've always wanted to play Silent Hill 2, 3, 4, or whatever, but they're crazy hard to find, crazy expensive on PS2, and this is kind of, I know it's not the best way to play them on the HD collection, but I'm willing to give it a shot. It was only $30. I don't know if that's an amazing deal or like just a whatever deal. Like, talked to some homies at work about it, and they were like, they were sad that it's, the HD collection, because they're like, yeah, it's not the best way to play it, but I'm gonna try it, and I'm actually really excited to give them a shot. So don't know when I'll get into these Silent Hill games, but maybe sooner rather than later. I got it kind of sticking out on my game shelf looking at me, so I'll always be thinking about it. So maybe sooner rather than later, but that was a fun Christmas pickups. And let me know what you guys got for Christmas. Were you good? Were you bad? Was Santa good to you? Did Santa bring you fucking video games, or you buy your own video games like I do for Christmas? I just buy myself fucking, if I want it, I'll go and buy it if it's relatively fair price. And I think Spider-Man was $50, and I'm like, yeah, man, for $50, I'm fine with that. And yeah, so good Christmas for me. Hopefully everyone here listening is having a fantastic holidays, and you got everything that you wanted. And are you ready? Let's talk about the year that was 2024 for myself. Feel free. Let me know what games you played this year. Go all the way back. Think about your year and think about all the great games you played, and tell me about the ones that stuck out the most to you, as I'm going to tell you about the games that stuck out to me the most this year. In 2024, let's do it, baby. It's the X-Ies 2025. Yeah. Oh, thank you to the Video Games Orchestra for personally coming down to my basement and recording that performance for my show. I'm just kidding, but that orchestra is out of control. Flute player, my goodness, don't settle down. Continue to be you, my friend. All right, let's kick it off, man. We got a lot of awards to get through here, and we're gonna ease into the awards with non-video game awards. We're gonna go with TV show / series of the year. My nominees are Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. Watched this high on shrooms, and I watched the whole entire thing in one sitting. Loved every minute of it. Fallout. Pleasantly well, I don't know. I was, it hit my expectations, honestly. I was like, yeah, Fallout should make for a good TV show, and I loved it, man. I was a little bit surprised by it, honestly, by the amount of violence and, like, just how adult it was. There's a lot of, like, sexual themes, and I was like, all right, we're going, like, way down that road. I really, really enjoyed Fallout. Very fun show. You got the bear. Oh, my goodness. Arguably, like, oh, this show is special. I didn't work in, like, a restaurant, worked in fast food, but, man, does it ever just perfectly show you what it's like and the pressures of restaurants. Like, holy crap. And I to try and get a Michelin star and stuff like that just seems way too crazy. But The Bear is one of the best acted, just well-made shows, so on the nose, so personable. If you liked Shameless, you'll love The Bear. Yeah, dude, it's an unbelievable show, and I love how fast they're getting these seasons out. It's fantastic. You got Survivor. This was a special year for my wife and I, and Survivor. We got all the way back into Survivor. We used to watch it, when we were kids. I got off of it eventually, so did she. But we got onto Paramount Plus this year, and they had some of the Survivor seasons. I think it's like season 32 till 46, and we watched all of them. Watched them all this year alone. We would have watched probably every season of Survivor if they were all available to us, but absolutely, I have to talk about Survivor. I watched so much of it this year, and it was an absolute blast. We got to talk about Monsters, the Menendez story. Holy crap. This is probably the one I've been recommending to people the most this year, because this is my cup of tea, man. I love a real story, and arguably, I would say the best acting I saw this year was in this series. It's, I think, an 8-part series or something. Just one season. Unfucking believable. I was so drawn in because I knew nothing about this. This is before my days. This is in the 90s, and I never heard anything about this. So I got hook, line, and sinker into the story. The acting just sucked me in. I loved it. It was superb, and it was very interesting because some older people at work, I talked to them about it, and they were like, "Oh, I remember this going down. Those guys were fucking crazy." Amazing show. Amazing. I think that was on Netflix. All right, we got Invincible, the animated series on, I think that one's on Prime now as well, but I love this show. Caught me off guard, kind of like this. I've been dying for this. So that's why I enjoy the Boys and Invincible so much, because I'm super exhausted with the Marvel formula where everything's like, yay, superheroes, hooray, save the day. And Invincible just so violent and just fantastic. I love Invincible, and the animation is getting very, very good. Season 1, you're like, yeah, and now you're like, oh yeah. Very nice looking show nowadays. And my final nomination for TV show series of the year is Dark Side of the Ring. I don't know what season they're on now. It might be 5 or 6, but whatever their latest season was, another fucking home run, man. This is my favorite wrestling series documentary that I can recommend. It is outstanding. You get stories that are well-known, stories that are completely just really, really down the rabbit hole of the history of wrestling. I'm a huge wrestling fan, and some of these stories I've never heard of, really eye-opening, and in the title, it is a very dark look at the wrestling industry and what it was. And thankfully, it's not that bad anymore. There are still major issues, absolutely. But yeah, bro, they've come a long way from what it used to be. But it's still incredibly sad. And if you still think that wrestling is fake and everything is fake about it, check out that show and come back to me with that opinion. And my winner is... This one's actually a lot harder than I was expecting, because my heart says Survivor, because of, my bonding experience with my wife. We both watched, 15 freaking seasons of Survivor this year, and we loved it. We got super engaged with the show, and yeah, man, I love when you get those, moments where you find something that you can really latch onto, and it's even better when you have your significant other also latch onto that thing with you. So my heart pick is Survivor, but my true pick goes to Monsters, the Menendez story. Kind of a surprise sleeper hit out of nowhere. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even really hear anything about it. We just tossed it on, and fucking homie from No Country for Old Men, Javier Bordier, or whatever the heck his name is, that dude is unbelievable. I've been a fan of his ever since I saw No Country for Old Men, and he crushes it as the father in the show. The kids are psychopaths. The mom is amazing. Yeah, dude, I love this kind of stuff, and that is my pick. I'll shout out Arcane. I did have it on this list, but some other shows just had to. Arcane didn't draw me in as much as I was hoping. Visually, phenomenal. But my winner, Monsters, the Menendez story for TV show / series of the year. We go now to movie of the year. It was a big year for movies and myself. I didn't list how many movies I watched, but there's a lot of movie watching this year. I really got into the Halloween theme this year. I watched a bunch of horror movies, But I think only 2 horror movies on this list. So my nominees for movie of the year are John Wick 4. And take into note, it doesn't matter what year it came out. I don't care. It doesn't have to be from 2024. It's if I watched it in 24, if I played it in 24, it's in contention. So John Wick 4, which may have came out, I don't remember. We got Abigail. Abigail, that was a fun-ass movie right there, man. One of my favorite horror movies of the year because it caught me so off guard. It was so entertaining. And yeah, dude, Abigail, if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. I don't want to say too much about it because it's a really fun, twisty movie, but man, that was a good one. TMNT Mutant Mayhem, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, I don't like the live action stuff, back in the day, or what most people liked, but I enjoyed the cartoons. And this one caught my attention, and I watched it, and fuck yeah, dude. This one also rules. I am loving these animated movies. The Spider-Verse ones are arguably some of my favorite movies ever made. They're so fucking good. This one's I didn't like it as much as Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my homie, but this one was awesome as well. And there's a Transformers one that came out. I also want to watch that one. Also, I'm not even that big into Transformers, but I want to check it out because they've been knocking these movies out of the park. And TMNT was one of the best ones I saw this year. Another horror movie, I was very excited to watch this one, and that is Terrifier 2. I did not watch Terrifier 1. It was recommended to me to just, skip to the second one. That's where it starts to get the ball rolling more efficiently, I guess we'll say. But oh my goodness, amazing. I loved this movie. The effects, the gore, the funniness. Art the freaking Clown is already one of my favorite characters ever now. He just sensational. I love the humor of the movie, the over-the-top gore. Now, it is most certainly not for everybody. There's even a scene in the bedroom with a certain girl, and that made me feel like, holy crap, that was a lot, But, man, this is a love letter to us horror gore fans. This is sensational. I wanted to get to Terrifier 3 this year as well, but it's not there yet, so I'll save that for next year. But yeah, dude, Terrifier, super on my radar. Now, I see you. We got Wonka. Oh, dude. Again, this is another movie. I watched it. I was high on shrooms, and it was amazing. But this movie, absolutely, I laughed so much. It was so damn funny, so magical, and it was so much better than I thought it was going to be. I am a lover of OG Willy Wonka. That's my Thanksgiving movie. My dad and I and whatever family members were around, we all watch Willy Wonka at Thanksgiving. I don't know, that's just what we did. And yeah, dude, this one was sensational. The songs really did get into my head. The characters, it was just a magical movie. Watch it on shrooms if you can, but fuck, that thing was awesome. We got a Godzilla -1. This thing just... I watched 3 more Godzilla movies after watching this. It just reignited my childhood love of Godzilla. I used to rent Godzilla movies at Blockbuster back in the day. Mechagodzilla versus Godzilla. That was my favorite ones. I remember the Mechagodzilla was the one I watched a lot. But, man, I hadn't watched a Godzilla movie, arguably since... Shit, dude, I don't think I watched one since the 1999 one. And, so I watched this. Blew me away. It is the best Godzilla movie I've ever seen. It's amazing. It, like I said, reignited my love, and I watched a bunch more of them. I will shout out Shin Godzilla that I watched. If I watched Shin Godzilla first, it would have had probably the same impact as this one, but I watched Godzilla -1. Both Godzilla movies are sensational. Check out either one of them, both of them if you have the time, but they're amazing. And the final movie I nominated is Poor Things. Dude, this movie was just so freaking good. It is my winner. Movie of the year is Poor Things. Emma Stone just crushed this movie, dude. Again, don't want to talk about the concept of it too much. It is very quirky, very weird, very, very strange, but a movie you just can't... It's just... sucks you in so much. The characters are amazing. I'm pretty sure it's the one with Mark Ruffalo in it. I'm not a Mark Ruffalo guy, but I loved him in this movie. If I'm pretty sure this is what he's in. Love this movie. That's my movie of the year. If you have not checked out Poor Things, my goodness, go check it out. It is going to be one of the most unique movies you've ever seen, more than likely. So that is my movie of the year, and we can finally move on now to the video game awards. Let's start off by talking about 2025 and the most anticipated game of the year award. Now, my nominees are, and it's looking like it's going to be a chunky year, man. There's a lot of games that I would have liked to put in my nominations, but I could have put like 15 games on this list, but I tried to keep it relatively small. So let's get the big major obvious one out of the way. Grand Theft Auto 6. Obviously, who isn't excited at this point for Grand Theft Auto 6? We've been waiting 13 freaking years now for over 10 years. Yeah, 13 years for the next Grand Theft Auto. And myself personally, especially, because I haven't really gotten into the Grand Theft Auto online. I haven't really gotten into it, so I've been waiting a very long time to even just play some Grand Theft Auto, man. So I am itching real bad. Played some Bully this year to try and scratch the itch, and it helped, but I'm ready for Grand Theft Auto, man. And yeah, I am very hyped up for Grand Theft Auto 6. Is the hype getting too big now? Is it just going to be too big? It's almost just like set for failure. I don't think so. I think it'll still be amazing. We got Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta Snake Eater. Very personal choice for me. I love Metal Gear Solid 3, one of my favorite games ever. And it needs a remake. The controls are a little bit ancient, and they don't feel very good anymore. It's not the funnest game to replay, but the story is amazing, and I'm so happy they're remaking this one. Start here. That's where the story starts, at least as far as I know. And yeah, dude, I am excited. It looks excellent, and I am dying to replay Metal Gear Solid 3 again, and hopefully have myself a good manly cry, because that game is... oh, it's so sad. It is so sad, but very excited for Metal Gear Solid 3. Hopefully that hits. We got Ghost of Yotei, or Yotai, the next Ghost of Tsushima game or whatever. I love Ghost of Tsushima, so yeah, I am easily can just put that on the list. It's going to be a banger, and yeah, I'm very excited to play it. Metroid Prime 4. So this will be, rather I'm playing this on the Switch 2, or I'm playing it on the OG. I don't know if it's going to come out on OG Switch, but we'll see. Very excited for the next iteration of Metroid Prime. It's been, 2007 was Metroid Prime 3. I did play that on the Wii. I liked it. I didn't finish it and love it, but they're cool-ass games, man, and I'm actually going to be starting up Metroid Prime Remastered very soon here, and yeah, I'm ready for some Metroid Prime. Very excited for that as well. We got Fable. I'm very excited for Fable, man. I've had a Fable itch for a while now. I've been wanting to replay Fable. I had the Anniversary Edition downloaded, but I heard it's not that great, but... man, I love the original Fable. Fable 2 was even better. That's one of my favorite games of that generation. I loved Fable 2. And I haven't played 3, and Fable, has it's been overhyped and it didn't hit the marks that it wanted to, but I still love Fable, and I'm excited for this reboot. I forget who is making it, but it's in good hands now. And yeah, dude, I'm excited. I hope it's good, man. I hope this is the best Fable that's ever been, and it feels like it could be. That's why there's quite a bit of hype around it, and I'm excited. Got to put down Split Fiction, though I think It Takes Two is super overrated, and it was good, but not great. I much preferred It Takes Two, Way Out as a co-op, but yeah, dude, I'm just excited that these games are getting made. Co-op, split-screen made games. Made for two people sitting side by side. My wife likes these games. She also enjoyed A Way Out more, and this one looks a little bit in between. It Takes Two was a little maybe too goofy, and A Way Out was pretty mature-ish. Two guys on the run from escaping prison. And this one's I like the concept of it. It's super mystical and magical. Looks like it's going to be a really good time. Regardless, it's going to have that fun split screen gameplay that I am dying for. So very excited for that one. What's it called? Split Fiction, I think it's called. Yeah, Split Fiction, that one. And I'll finish it off with Pokemon Legends ZA. It's Pokemon. Even though they've been underwhelming, I have loved the Switch iteration of the Pokemon games so far. No, they aren't what we were hoping for, but they're close. They're not as pretty as we want them to be. They don't run as well as we wanted them to be, but fuck, are they ever fun, man. I loved Arceus. I loved... What the fuck? What other ones came out? I don't care. I love all Pokemon. I'm always going to be there for Pokemon. Probably going to buy that sumbitch day one. Don't even give a fuck anymore. I'm excited. But the one I am most excited for is... It's Grand Theft Auto 6. I mean, not to be anticlimactic, but like, geez, I've been waiting 13 frickin' years for this game. And I'm personally really excited to see if it's going to hit the hype. Like, if they can hit that tier again. And like, yeah, dude, it's exciting. It's going to be huge for video games. It's just kind of the question of, will it come out in 2025 or will it get pushed to 26? I don't know. I know most of the gaming world, all the publishers are dying to know, when the hell are you guys going to drop that game? Because we need to know where not to drop it. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm fucking excited for Grand Theft Auto 6, bro. It's, even though I'm not big on the multiplayer, I love the stories of Grand Theft Auto, and I love the worlds they create and the characters, and yeah, I love Grand Theft Auto, so I'm excited. All right, we got, up next is Backlog Game of the Year. It's a very personal one. You know, everyone's backlog is different, but I got through a few games this year that have been screaming on my backlog. Like, these are the games that you think about, like, maybe once a week. You're like, ah, or like you hear it come up in conversation. You're just like, ah, I wish I played. I don't have opinions yet. I haven't played it. I want to get in on the conversation, but I haven't experienced it yet. So I just don't have enough to say. But the games that screamed the most at me this year were Resident Evil, the remake version of it. Oh my goodness, since like the PS3 era, I've been meaning to play it. I've honestly been too chicken. That game scared the hell out of me as a kid, and yeah, just didn't want to go back there yet. And I finally did it this year, and it was awesome. It was so freaking... I was shocked at how much fun it was. Even though there's a lot of tanky controls that, like, hold it back, it also made the tension of the game higher, and, like, it was just a very lovely crafted video game where they used their limitations as a positive to make it more scary or whatever. It was sensational. That game absolutely still holds up today. I was blown away. So Resident Evil Remake. We got Bully. I had to play. I've been wanting to play Bully ever since it came out. It was one of the rare games my family would not let me play. They saw the name Bully and they said absolutely not. So, yeah, finally at the age of 31, how old am I? 31 maybe, I was able to finally buy the game myself, and I played it, and it was dope. Oh, man. Another game I'm just like, damn, I wish I had this when I was a kid. Would have fucking loved this game. Still loved it now. It was great. It does scratch that Grand Theft Auto itch. It's a very unique spin on the Grand Theft Auto. Like, you're a kid in high school, and, you know, instead of cops, you got teachers that are chasing you around and security guards, and instead of guns, you got slingshots, and it's, of course, got that fantastic... who the fuck makes Grand Theft Auto? Rockstar. It's got that Rockstar charm and wit and comedy to it as well. The characters are ridiculous, and it was a lot of fun, man. It's doesn't look the best anymore, even in like their HD versions. It was still a bit muddy, but the performances, voice-wise, were really good, and the music was super catchy, so I really liked that. Bully was a great time. Still holds up. We got Metal Gear Rising. Is that what it's called? I thought it was called Metal Gear Revengeance. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, I think is what it's called. Ever since that game, I saw the demo for that game, I was like, I want this, I need this, I want to play it so bad. But it was one of those games, I was like, all right, it's like a 6-hour game that I'm not going to play a lot of times. I'll wait for a price drop. And it just never really hit that price drop I was looking for. And then the stories started coming out that, yo, this game is hard as fuck. It's got one of the hardest bosses ever in it, and I can confirm, yeah, he was fucking hard. I did beat him. I beat the game, and it was hard. It was very, very hard, but so fun. One of the funnest video game mechanics I could ever say I played with is the sword controls in this game, where you can just free slash a bitch into 1,000 pieces wherever you want to cut them. You can cut. So much fun. Very hard, fast pace, you know, hack and slash action. It was a ton of fun. Like a very awesome spin-off game for Metal Gear Solid. And if you hate Raiden, this game is pretty redeeming for him. He is a fucking badass in this game. So, yeah, dude, it's worth checking it out. It is very, very difficult, though, I will admit. We got Crash Trilogy. So, just in general, the Crash Trilogy, I actually never played it. Even though I owned a PlayStation 1, I was more on the Spyro train, and I only played Crash Bash, which is like a Mario Party-ish style game in the Crash universe. So the trilogies came out, I did Spyro, and I was like, all right, I own Crash, and for years I've been, all right, I'll get there. I finally did, and it was good, man. Aside from the first game, which will make another appearance in a moment, the third game in particular is the one that I really enjoyed. Crash Warped, maybe? Anyway, the third one was awesome. If that's where you're like, oh man, I wish they made one more game. Well, I mean, they technically did, just way, way later. But yeah, dude, I was really into the Crash Trilogy. It was nice. It was very nice. Wish I played them as a kid. That would have been better. And finally, Metal Gear Solid 5. This game, this is the one that's gnawed at me the worst. I've tried it. It's same story as The Witcher. I've played it a couple times, and it just wasn't hitting, wasn't feeling it. And yeah, I don't know, third or fourth time now, and it hit. It finally hit, and it hit so good. Oh my goodness, like, all the time you would hear it on podcasts, every once in a while, even though like, oh yeah, I know the story fell apart and the whole drama between Kojima and anyway, that whole drama falling out. But dude, the gameplay is so much fun. Oh my goodness. It's so freeing. It's so fun. You can do whatever you want. And I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. And it is my winner this year for Backlog Game of the Year. It was my most satisfying game to check off that backlog list, because I know I was going to love it. I knew I loved it when I played it initially. It was just like, it just wasn't the time. Sometimes it's just not time yet. And then it just hit this time, and I had so much freaking fun with that game. Backlog Game of the Year is Metal Gear Solid 5. We go now to most played games of the year. This one's really easy. I don't have to do any real thinking. We'll just go through the games that I played the most by hours. So we start at the bottom with God of War Ragnarok, which I've spent 50 plus hours with, shockingly. Homie at work was right. This game is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I was like, oh, it would probably be like 35 hours, and nope, we hit the 50-hour mark, maybe closer to 55 with Valhalla strapped on top of that, but man, what a fucking meal God of War was. Not a lot of wasted space in that game whatsoever. That was a full just feast of 50 hours, man. For a game with, you know, the open world tag-ish kind of on it, it's filled, man. It's a very, very impressive game. Very satisfied with my 50 hours on that. We got the sleeper hit of the year for me, This War of Mine. I've been talking about this game, I feel like, for months now. I've been playing it for months, and I continue to talk about it, and it's earned itself 55 plus hours of my time this year. Just kind of plotting away at it on the couch and my handheld Switch while wife and I are watching Survivor or whatever the fuck we're watching, and I'm just gaming, bro. I'm surviving. I'm trying to live. I'm trying to prevent people from killing themselves. It's a brutal game, man, and took a chance on it. It was like $5, and it's so much fun. I can't wait to move on to Frostpunk, their next game in the series, or, you know, I don't think it follows this game, but anyway, it's their next game they made, and I'm gonna play it this year. It's gonna be awesome. But This War of Mine, yeah, and I'm still playing it. Like, I still haven't really technically dropped it yet, so it's still going at 55 plus hours. Up next is Final Fantasy 16 at 60 hours. Pretty reasonable for a Final Fantasy game. Yeah, it's a Final Fantasy game. They're always generally long, and Final Fantasy 16 was awesome. Super fantastic game. We'll be talking about it a few more times throughout these awards. Absolutely. Up next, we have Metal Gear Solid 5, which took 65 hours plus of my time. You know, with the story and all this, there's so many side missions. There's still more for me to do, but I have not gone back to, you know, clean up whatever ones I haven't done. There's like these super hard missions you can do, and like there's you can easily put like 100 plus hours into Metal Gear Solid if you want to. I mean, I would have loved to, but it's just they weren't rewarding enough. I was good, but man, is that game ever a ton of fun. 65 hours, my goodness. And now we're getting to the big ones. 2 big RPGs here. Second highest game played was Yakuza Like a Dragon. 90 hours on that sumbitch right there, and absolutely loved it, dude. I cannot wait to get back to Yakuza Like a Dragon series. I want to do Ishin first before I go back to Infinite Wealth and, catch back up with Ichiban and the boys, but dude, Ichiban, oh my goodness, I love this guy. I love this game. It's, even though I don't know, there's a ton of variety to the game. I love the style, the humor, that fucking restaurant, the management little sim that they threw in there on top of that. I throw up. Are you kidding me? That is so my jam. I loved it. Put so much time into that alone. They got a kart racer it's okay. It's fun. There's just so much to do in this game. I fucking love it. And I didn't even do the gambling stuff. If you get into the gambling stuff, you could, oh my goodness. But Yakuza Like a Dragon, absolutely loved it. But the game I played the most this year was Persona 3 Reloaded, with a staggering 120 plus hours spent with Persona 3. These games, yes, they are fucking massive. And these games always go way over the time limit that it says it is. I remember Persona 5, they were 70, 80 hours. I spent 150 fucking hours in that game. And I was just wow, I got another 10 hours. That's amazing. Oh, wow, I'm still going. I love this. And I just didn't want it to end. So it was the gift that kept on giving. But that is Persona. They just keep going. And I'm just I love this. I don't want it to end. I don't want to leave. I love the fucking setting. I love the characters and the story, the music, everything. God damn. And now we got Metaphor ReFantasio is here. I will get there when I get there, but I didn't want to overload myself with Persona style, big RPGs like that. So Persona 3 was my big sumbitch this year, and Yakuza. But my God. So yeah, Persona 3 Reload wins most played game of the year. Up next, we got Indie Game of the Year. I was looking through my played games of the year, and I don't think I had as many indie games that I would have liked to have on my list. Hoping I can get some more indie games in here this year, but some of them, I don't know if Little Nightmares is technically indie. I believe it is an indie game, but regardless, that didn't make the cut because there were some real banger indie games that I played this year, and my nominees are: we have Venba. This is a sweet little game that you can beat in 2 hours or something like that. It's a nice game about cooking, opening up your eyes to the cultures of the eastern side of the world. It was a lovely game, man. And it definitely made me want to cook some of the food. Absolutely. Made me hungry. Made me nice and hungry. So that was a fun little game. We got Little Kitty, Big City. Oh, I was super excited for this one. I love cats. I own 5 of them. And yeah, this one, you're playing as a cat in you're a little kitty in a big city, and you're just going around. Now, it wasn't the most mechanically sound. It wasn't there was some problems with the game, but I just loved it. Exploring the world, solving little puzzles, finding little trinkets as a little kitty, and a pretty fucking, if you feel like a cat, you can meow, you're interacting with other cats. It was a super quirky, fun game, and I really enjoyed it. Oh man, Animal Well. This game is insane because it was made by one freaking person. That really opened up my eyes. You should just have an award for doing this by yourself. Fucking crazy. Now, it wasn't it isn't my favorite one of the year, but what an achievement. This game's insane, dude. The puzzles are amazing. A little bit creepy. I don't remember it very vividly, but it was a cool-ass game, man. The fact that one person made that, fucking wild. We have The Plucky Squire. Super cool game. I love the concept of it being a 2D and a 3D game. So you're in the storybook. Inside the storybook, it's kind of like Chicory if you've played that one, but it's 2D. And you're solving these puzzles inside the book. And you're using 2D and 3D elements. Very unique puzzle solving with the book. And yeah, dude, I was very impressed with this game. Really, really enjoyed The Plucky Squire. Good enough for a nomination. We have Balatro, also made by one person. This game caught me off guard for sure. I started hearing it on my podcast, like, yo, have you played this poker roguelike game? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that sounds wild. And I gave it a shot and couldn't put it down for weeks, man. Like, oh my goodness. What a concept. So simple, so fun, so unique and smart. Another round. You want to play another one. You find these unique strategies and like, yeah, dude, you don't have to like it has nothing to do with gambling outside you're using poker as your game that you're playing. But it's like, man, I know poker a little bit, like I play, but yeah, dude, this game was shockingly fun, stupid fun. I need to go back to it now. They've had a bunch of free updates and stuff like that. I want to get back to it, but yeah, dude, Balatro is a special game. If you have any interest in roguelites, if you have any interest in fun at all, download Balatro right now. What's wrong with you? And my final nominee is Dave the Diver. Got into Dave the Diver early this year. I remember playing it, in my nice warm bed during the winter, and like, oh, what a cozy, delightful fucking game. You run a sushi shop throughout the day, or at night you're cooking, and then throughout the day you're in the water, you're collecting fish, you're doing these missions, you got these zany, wacky characters you're getting introduced to. These wild customers will come in asking for these crazy dishes you got to try and find the ingredients for. The music is delightful, the characters are charming as fuck. The style of the game is just oozing. I loved it, man. I loved playing Dave the Diver. Super comfy. Like, you can play a 20-minute, you could play a day at a time, you could play a week, you could get really into Dave the Diver. And another one, they added more stuff to it, and I haven't gone back to revisit Dave the Diver. But my award for Indie Game of the Year goes to, it's going to Balatro, man. Oh my goodness. Very delightfully surprised and very happy that Balatro was getting a lot of love. It got nominated for Video Game of the Year at the Video Game Awards, which I think is sensational. Like, what an achievement to have this made by one person. Though I will give the Animal Well, I think that game is a little bit wilder that one person made that. But both games, incredible. Balatro, just the genius of the idea. It's fucking incredible, man. Like, it's just so freaking good, man. If you have not checked out Balatro, I've been pushing it on everybody that I know that fucking plays video games. Like, check out Balatro. It is amazing. That is my Indie Game of the Year. Now we have my only not good award to win is the Disappointment of the Year award. Thankfully, we only have 3 nominees for this one, but Disappointment of the Year, our nominees are Crash Bandicoot, the first game in the series. That fucking level, dude. That bridge, what the shit was that, man? That was unbelievable. I don't know. I think I did count it. There's the Crash Bandicoot episodes. I counted how many times I died, and you see the progress throughout the game. I went from like 70 plus game overs in the first game to, I think, 2 game overs by Crash 3. And it was just because of how horribly designed that level was in the first game. Like, I could not believe it. I could barely get through it. Like, I almost had to quit I did quit on that game. I started playing Crash 2 to get my fucking confidence back up because I was so just down on losing over and over and over again to that same freaking level. I had to start the new game to get some freaking wins under my belt, and then I went back and beat it, and I was like, my god, never again. That is a never again play game because of that level alone. I'll never ever do it again. So that was rough. That was a rough one, right? That was a rough moment for the year right there. We got Hellblade. Senua's Sacrifice, the first game in the series, not the second one, the first game. Bad combat, and the puzzles were so fucking tedious, man. The combat just seemingly never ended. Every combat situation you got in, it was just, here's another guy. Oh, here's another one and another one. Here's another big wave of enemies, and it just doesn't fucking end. And then the worst boss fight of the year, by far. This dude called Fenrir, horrifying. So long, I kept whacking and whacking and whacking and whacking, and then I got like one whack away from killing him. He fucking killed me. Then I had to start it all over again. Pissed. So pissed. It was awful. And then those puzzles, bro. Those fucking puzzles in the first Hellblade. It's the same puzzle over and over and over again. Find the little whatever in the environment that's super hard to find, have fun. No, that was a rough one to get through, man. I'm very happy that I got to the second game. Totally different story, but whew, that first Hellblade, damn, there were some parts in that game I did not like. And the final nominee is Mario Sunshine. Oh yeah, I'm going there. I'm not letting him slide. That game fucking sucked, dude. Like, oh, what was that? What were they doing with Sunshine, man? So many just, the controls weren't there. The level design wasn't there. Man, it just didn't feel right. Now, there is charm to the game. I like some of the theming to it. Some of the music is awesome. Some of the levels are even good, but so many of them were just miserable to fucking get through. Probably the most frustrated I got this year was playing this game, aside from some of my Call of Duty moments. But, damn, dude, this game aged like shit. And, with milk on it and, a bunch of other stuff. But, I was very let down by Sunshine. I had hopes, I've never played it before. I know all the bad things about it. I've seen the levels. I've saw the 2-hour-long videos on YouTube deconstructing the game as why to it's bad or why it's good. I'm on the bad side. I did not like it at all, and it is my disappointment of the year is Mario Sunshine. What the heck was that, Nintendo? Disappointing. Now, I know the stories behind it. It was rushed and all that shit. But still, don't do that. And they don't do that, man. They fucking craft their Mario games like crazy now. The Mario Sunshine, that's the outlier. And yeah, dude, I did not like that game this year. So that was my roughest moment for, I would say, this year. Now we go to the retro game of the year. My favorite game that I deemed it from the PS2 era backwards. So anything, I don't think I have. Well, technically, so Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped is on here, which is technically a PS4 title because it's a part of the Insane trilogy, but it's a retro game technically, you know what I'm saying? So, it's up for debate. But I try to keep it to PS2 era backwards, but this year we got Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped is in there. It was delightful. That was a delightful game. I liked it top to bottom. I was like, I wish I had some of the abilities in this game in the other ones, like the fucking double jump. The fuck? Where was that? Anyway, so Crash Bandicoot 3, that was delightful. Very, very, very lovely game. We got Fire Emblem, the Game Boy Advanced. I think that is the first. I don't know if that's the first Fire Emblem game, but it is the first of... Nope, that's not true either. It's not the first of that style I've played, but I don't know. I was feeling it, and I tried it, and I couldn't put it down. It was really fun. It's not very hard for one of those grid-based strategy RPG games. It's good, man. I just love those games. Excuse me. I love grid-based strategy RPG things. Hence why I like Fire Emblem. And I wanted to go back and try the older ones. And it was a delightful handheld experience. It is rather long, though. It was like a 30, 40-hour game. So, be prepared for that. But it was fun. It wasn't too hard. And, it was delightful. Very delightful. Had fun with Fire Emblem. We got Pokemon Stadium 2 on the N64. Holy crap. Oh, this game was so fucking hard. Oh, my goodness. This is the hardest Pokemon game I ever played. By far. I was looking up guides. I was trying to figure out how to beat this fucking game, man, because it is a puzzle. It is a puzzle. Who'd have thunk that some of the weakest Pokemon are some of the most useful in this? It's crazy, dude. It is so crazy. Play Pokemon Stadium 2 and try and beat it with the rental Pokemon, and let's have a conversation, because that shit was wild. I had so much fun trying to piece these teams together to take down these fucking leaders, man. It was so much fun. I loved it. I was not expecting to have that much of a challenge with Pokemon, but it is a challenge I've been dying for in my Pokemon game forever. It was so much fun. We got Bully. It was so much... I love Bully. It was such a good time, wanting to play it forever and ever and ever, and I finally did. Scratch that Grand Theft Auto itch that I've been looking for, so that was nice. And yeah, what a delightful game. Super funny. The characters were great. Music great. Yeah. And then Resident Evil Remake. Goddamn. Really feels good to get that one off my belt. That felt really good. But my retro game of the year is Pokemon Stadium 2. What a delightful experience that was. It was the most fun for me. Just putting that puzzle together. Looking up these, looking up these insane teams, man. I don't remember which ones I was putting together. But, I know Kadabra was unbelievable. Like, Jesus, man. There's an episode on it. There's a Pokemon Stadium 2 episode. And I go into detail on some of the fights and the teams that you had to build. It was so much fun. If you have not played Pokemon Stadium 2 and you're looking for a hard Pokemon challenge, check it out, bud. All right, next we got Surprise of the Year. This goes to a game that rather I didn't know much about. I gave it a chance. It was on sale. I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot. It looks cool. Or a game that maybe I didn't have very big expectations for. Like, oh, it sounds like it's overhyped. I don't know if I'm going to hit with this game. And it just hit harder than I expected it to. So, Surprise of the Year, your nominations are Balatro. Straight up. I mean, the concept sounded like too simple, but just, I don't know, it just kept getting recommended and kept getting recommended. People were just, I can't put it down. I just keep playing it. Hey, I'm still playing Balatro. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And yeah, immediately, like, if you're not hooked after the first game, like, something wrong with you. And that's exactly what happened with me and Balatro. Hooked, and took a while for me to put it down. I put like 25, 30 hours into that game. And yeah, I didn't get, like, I didn't unlock, I think I got through like 3 or 4 of the decks I got fully through, one with or whatever the fuck, but Balatro, delightful. Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga. Now, considering my experiences with the first Hellblade were rather underwhelming, I went in with lower expectations for Hellblade 2, and also, you know, that game just kind of got swept under the rug when it came out. Not a lot of hype. It came out, people were like, yep, it exists, moving on. And I was like, all right, like, what is it? Like, what's wrong with it? And then I played it, and I was blown away. Like, I played Hellblade 1 and 2 back to back, and, like, it's not even, like, wow. The improvements are incredible. The graphics, the sound design, the gameplay obviously takes the biggest step forward. The combat is still boring, but it's faster. It's more cinematic now, so it feels better. The puzzles are much better balancing there. And the story is amazing. The story is fantastic. So, yeah, don't sleep on the Hellblade games. Like, you may want to just watch a video on the first game, but definitely play Hellblade 2. It is phenomenal. Amazing, in fact. So there you go. Wait, hold on. That's not all of them. We got Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, I do believe it's called. I have not played a Wolfenstein game before. And I decided I'm jumping in here for some reason. I remember this one in particular reviewed very well. And I tried it, and it was fucking awesome. It was so much fun. The main bitch, that main bad girl, she is sensational. What a character. What a villain. And the other cast of characters around you, man. Like, it was one of the funnest FPS campaigns I've ever played. It is action-packed, super unique storyline. It's that... what if Hitler won the war, like, alternate storyline. And yeah, dude, you're fucking shooting Nazis in this new Nazi America. Fucking cool ass game, man. Super cool. I even convinced one person at work to buy it. They haven't played it yet, but they're gonna because of me. All right, 2 more. Marvel's Midnight Suns. Yeah, okay, so this one was recommended to me by a guy at work. And the way he described it, I was like, yeah, sounds cool. He was like, yeah, it's kind of like XCOM, but with Marvel superheroes. I'm like, you said XCOM. You said XCOM, you say. And so, yeah, I was interested. Didn't have a lot of hype for it because, like, the reviews were good. It's almost, some were great. Some great reviews, but I did not expect to fall in love with this game the way that I did. What I think helped was on the PlayStation Plus thing or whatever, the game was leaving in like 2 weeks, so I had a mission. I was like, I'm gonna beat this game in 2 weeks, so I dedicated all my gaming time to it, and I beat it. I beat it in the 2-week time frame, and it's not a small game. It's pretty fucking big. It was like 40, 50 hours or some shit, and it was delightful. I loved the gameplay. It is like XCOM, that kind of strategy on the fly, but you're using Marvel superheroes, and not just like the main, it's like a unique cast of characters. I don't want to give them all away, but it's not your standard Marvel group, and it's super fun getting to know all of them. And yeah, man, it was a delightful game. I almost bought it after I beat it because I wanted to buy it so I can play the DLCs with Deadpool. That's how much I liked it. I beat it, and still I wanted to buy it so that I can play the DLC. So that's saying something. That is not the kind of gamer I am. I did not do it, but I very much so wanted to, because the game was only like $23. And I'm like, I would, even though I've already beaten you, I'd pay $23 to own you for forever and ever. Amen. But yeah, Marvel's Midnight Suns. Wow. Very impressed. And finally, this war of mine. What can I fucking say about this game that I haven't already for the last few months? Took a flyer on it on the Nintendo eShop, complete edition for like $5. Read the description, looked at a couple screenshots. I'm like, looks like a survival strategy type thing. I'm in for it for $5. And 50 plus hours later, can't stop talking about it. Crazy moments keep happening. Like, I got these wild stories of people killing themselves that it's great. This game's so cool, man. It's so freaking cool. I'm so happy I found it. I never heard a single word about this game ever. It's older. It came out in like 2016, 17 maybe. I don't know, but wow. Wow, absolutely. And it's without a doubt my surprise hit of the year. That award is going to This War of Mine. Wow. What a fun freaking game. So dark, so fun. Can't get enough of it. Super awesome game right there. Let us now go and appreciate the beauty of video games and award the graphics of the year. I will admit, these are more recent games. I do have one game here that is I played it on the PS4, so that game is a Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Oh, baby. I love the atmosphere of this game, just old school Japan. Oh, the architecture, the beauty. Unbelievable. That game still looks amazing, so I had to shout that one out for sure. And the rest of these are all I played. Well, these are all modern PS5, Xbox Series, whatever the fuck. So we got Final Fantasy 16. Gorgeous video game. The character models looked amazing. It's Final Fantasy. I mean, generally always known for phenomenal graphics, and yet again, it's, oh man, what a fantastic game. Love the, what do you call it? It's a Game of Thrones-y feeling, like in terms of the look of it. It's more of the old school Renaissance, medieval knights and shit like that. Love that. So that was phenomenal. And of course, the mature tone of the game. Finally, Final Fantasy getting a mature rated game. That was just, oh man, did that ever hit home. So, and it looked beautiful the whole time through. So Final Fantasy 16 nominated. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. It's Star Wars again. Another one. Love the atmosphere of Star Wars. Space is fantastic. That was an easy one. Character models. It looked a lot better than, was it Fallen Order or whatever the heck? This one was rather nice looking. Character models looking ridiculous nowadays. And I'm playing some PS3 and a few older games and really starting to notice like the difference in terms of the character models, especially like mouth movement and stuff like that. The subtle differences, much more noticeable to me now going back. So like, dude, character models are getting ridiculous. It's like you're watching a movie, and it's funny because I've been saying that kind of stuff forever, but like, man, it's getting crazy. Speaking of crazy, Resident Evil 4 Remake. Holy crap, that RE engine, just giving me a whole new look. It really does. Even though people are on the fence about remakes, remasters, and stuff like this, I feel like Resident Evil 4 Remake is that almost as perfect of a remake as you can get. It's different enough that you're giving the old school players a new twist on one of their favorite games, but still keeping what made those games amazing. But the RE engine just making these Resident Evil games, and I say this all the time, but horror especially is getting such a bump from the graphics nowadays. Everything's looking so horrifying. The creatures, the atmosphere, just, gosh. Resident Evil 4, amazing. And Dead Space Remake, very similar. It's just a gorgeous looking horror video game. The only thing that held it back was the lacking of environments. You're in the Ishimura, a big space station. You're spending 98% in there, but my goodness, what an amazing looking video game. So gorgeous, the lighting effects and stuff. Whew, goodness. We got God of War Ragnarok. This one is just ridiculous in terms of how many different environments you have, like everything. There's fucking desert, snow, mountains, trees, water, and it looks so good. There were so many just jaw-dropping areas that you go to in God of War Ragnarok. And again, the character models, everything running on one smooth engine. There's no like harsh cuts into big cutscene moments. It's just all smooth and incredible, absolutely incredible. But my winner for graphics of the year is Hellblade 2: Senua's Saga. Wow, this game blew me away. Now I will give God of War the ups that it's a much bigger game, and there's a lot, I would say a better amount of environments, different places to go, and a lot more of them. But dude, Hellblade looked incredible. Like during combat and stuff, the facial expressions during combat just melted my brain. I was like, that looks like you can just see the viciousness and like oh my god, it's unbelievable. It was unbelievable. I'm not a graphics hound. Like I will appreciate them, of course, when they're this incredible. But wow, dude, that game, Hellblade 2, blew me away with the graphics. Obviously, it's a very incredible looking game when you're just having conversations with people. The facial animations, the lighting effects, and just wow, the emotions that you're getting out of the characters and stuff like that. Unfrickin' believable. And in Hellblade 2, you get a lot more color and variety in the second game over the first game. It's unbelievable. You should absolutely check it out. Don't miss Hellblade 2, man. It is an unbelievable game. Looks amazing. It gets my graphics of the year. Phenomenal looking game. And now we appreciate the soundtrack, the sound design. Mostly we're focused on soundtracks, but regardless, sound design, I guess, no. We're just focused on soundtrack. Sound design, something else. Maybe I should appreciate that more next year with its own award. But soundtrack of the year, the nominees are, we got Mario Wonder. Sensational, just truly wonderful soundtrack that, I mean, there's such a perfect name for this game is Wonderful. It is, or Wonder, because it's such a wonder and it's wonderful. And the music is fantastic. Shadow of the Erd Tree. Yes, it's a DLC, but in my eyes, it's a full game. I don't care. It's 40 plus hours and it's amazing, and so is the music. Right there with Elden Ring, just bam, over the top, just crazy operatic epic sequence music over top of ridiculously hard boss battles. And oh my goodness, the Shadow of the Erd Tree, ridiculous. We got another FromSoft game. It's a Sekiro. Love the freaking music in this game. Again, with that Japanese flair to it, man. It's a little bit creepy, man. Some of those, there's like some creepy enemies, and the music with them is really unsettling. Love the music in Sekiro. God of War Ragnarok making another appearance. Ridiculous music, bro. I would even shout out, honestly, God of War Ascension. I played that right after Ragnarok. Ascension's got insane music, bro. Insane. But God of War Ragnarok, just ridiculously amazing music. It gets insanely epic for, obviously, the epic moments. But it gave me nostalgia for Witcher 3 when you're in the calmer moments. It's just an outstanding soundtrack. You got Persona 3 Reload. You gotta. Anytime I play a Persona game, the music's gonna be there. Phenomenal soundtrack. Love the freaking music in that one. I can't even remember. Was it the rock? Was it more of a rock themed? I don't even remember anymore. I played Persona 3 very early in the year, but regardless, it's just planted in there. It's Persona 3. And then, of course, Final Fantasy 16. It's a little bit, I have Bully in here as well as a shout out, because Bully just, it just made me appreciate what music was back then, and also appreciate how far the music has come today. Like, back then, it was maybe a few people, maybe one guy doing the music for the whole game, and now you got full orchestrated soundtracks and craziness. It's amazing, but I love the Bully soundtrack. But Final Fantasy 16, epic. Just epic. But the winner for soundtrack of the year goes to God of War Ragnarok. I don't care. It is a little bit recency bias, but man, that music was ridiculous. And I'm attaching God of War Ascension to it too, because man, that music was seriously insane. I was extremely impressed. But soundtrack of the year, let's just give it to God of War. God of War, out of control. And now we are at the final awards. We have Shoutouts of the year. So shoutouts are games that throughout the year made an appearance on my top 10 favorite games of the year, and eventually they had to get moved off, but they're not going out without a fight. They're at least getting a shoutout. So my shoutouts of the year, we're hitting Indiana Jones with a shoutout of the year. I finished it, and yes, it stuck the landing. It's a very, very strong 8 out of 10. It really nailed the Indiana Jones feeling. It felt like I just played and watched an Indiana Jones movie. It was awesome. If you have Game Pass, absolutely check it out. It is a lot of fun. Combat's a little wonky, but man, the story and the puzzles are pretty damn fun. I really enjoyed Indiana Jones. It didn't get on to the list because it was literally the last game that I played this year, but if any point earlier, I had to shout it. It was so fun. We got to shout out Balatro. Sadly, Balatro is not on my top 10 favorite games of the year. There's a couple of other ones that I played a little bit more, but I have to shout out Balatro because it's probably the game that I've recommended the most to people this year. It's just sensational. Very happy that it's getting the love that it got. You could play it on mobile. Like I hear on mobile, that sounds deadly. So absolutely check out Balatro if you haven't. Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga, sorry. If you're an Xbox owner and you haven't played it, dude, you have to. You have to represent this game. Don't let it die. It's very disappointing that it got kind of just pushed to the side. It was an outstanding game. I was blown away. Now, maybe it's because my expectations were set rather low going in, because Hellblade 1 didn't hit that hard for me, and the way that Hellblade 2 got treated, I was just like, all right, it's probably just going to be a solid time, but it was fucking great. I really enjoyed it. Might be one of my favorite Xbox games of all time. So there you go. Check that one out. This one might piss off Nintendo fans, but Mario Wonder. Again, I'm not the biggest Mario fan, but I have to give Wonder its shout out. I mean, it's a wonderful video game. I finished everything. Well, not everything. I beat all the special worlds. I collected all the seeds or whatever. I didn't get all the purple coins or whatever the heck, but it's one of the only Mario games I can say I've ever completed by myself without the help of my friend Billy, who always has to finish the final levels for me because I can't do it. But Mario Wonder was excellent, man. It was very fun. It's just a little too much it's just Mario. It's just another Mario game, but it was excellent, and I had a great time with it. It was beautiful, and I'm not done with it. I would love to play it with a friend, my wife, anyone. It would be a lovely co-op experience as well. So yeah, had to shout it out. Jedi Survivor, it was on the list very early. I played it very early in the year, and it was an early favorite. It was awesome. It was an improvement on the first game, pretty much exactly what I was expecting. A shockingly hard boss fight in there that I won't ruin, but it stuck in my brain. I was like, wow, this is incredibly difficult, but it makes sense. It was awesome, man. It's Star Wars. I haven't gotten to Outlaws yet. I know it's reviewing a little underwhelmingly, but I still want to give Outlaws a chance. But yeah, Jedi Survivor, real fucking good time. Resident Evil Remake, man. A game from, I don't even know when it first got remade for the first time. It's been released on so many platforms, but I had such a good freaking time with Resident Evil Remake. I wanted to play it again. After I finished it, I wanted to do more. I wanted to play another Resident Evil. This was the year of Resident Evil, without a doubt. I kicked it off with Resident Evil. I got back into Resident Evil in October. I still want to play Resident Evil. So it was a big year for me and Resident Evil, and I have to shout out the remake. It just misses the cut. It was on there, and yeah, I just had to push it down. It is clunky. There are problems with Resident Evil, but they're charming problems, so yeah, I have to shout it out. And of course, the final shout out is Marvel's Midnight Suns. A tough cut for me. I know it's kind of laughable for some people, but I love me some strategy games of the XCOM style variety. You throw in some very charming Marvel characters that were done really well. I enjoyed pretty much every character, even fucking what's his face, Captain America, who I'm not big on, but he was fine in this game. Really enjoyed it, and you get it so cheap. Give it a shot, give it a chance. It's really, really fun. So that's my final shout out of the year, and oh my freaking goodness, we are here, everybody. My personal 10 favorite video games of the year. Now, take note, these are not the best video games. These are my favorite ones. I have scores behind every game, and there are games here that are rated higher than other ones, but it's just personal ones that I was like, man, this was such a great time. So it's not about scores, it's about personal feel for the game and how I felt about it. So we start at number 10, just making it in there, baby. I really couldn't at this point. It's This War of Mine. I can't believe taking a $6 whim on a game like this, and I checked it now, it's actually over 60 hours on this game, and what a bargain. What an absolute bargain, and so fun. And there's still literally hundreds more hours left in this game. There's so many more scenarios to play. What a phenomenal Nintendo Switch handheld game. If you haven't checked it out, please check it out. All right, number 9. We got Dave the Diver. Even though it didn't get my indie game of the year, I love this game. It was just my style, man. Super cozy game. I just love, getting a cup of coffee and I played this for a while, man. It was an early game in the year, but man, it was a cozy time. Super fun, super chill, funny, and a very addicting gameplay loop. So Dave the Diver makes my number 9 spot. Number 8, we have Persona 3 Reload. So it may be my least favorite of the Personas that I've played so far, but not by much at all. They're all very tightly packed in together, and they're all very highly rated in my books. Persona 3 Reload was outstanding. I haven't played the original, but man, they bumped up this game. They added in some new stuff, the characters. It's a Persona game, man. It's that gameplay loop that I love. You're going to ski at night, and during the day, you're deciding what you want to do with yourself. Do you want to fight demons? Do you want to get stronger? Do you want to build stronger relationships with your friends? Do you want to build up your skills? I just cannot get enough of Persona, and trying my best to hold back on getting Metaphor. I want it so bad, but I need to give my time to other games right now, and I'm holding back on it. But dude, Persona 3 Reload, I played that on Game Pass day one it came out. I was there. And yeah, it took the most amount. It was the game. I put 120 hours into Persona, and I feel like that's one of the shorter Personas. So yeah, it's a big task, but it's one of those games I never want to leave. And man, what a great time Persona 3 is. I wish I had a Persona to play every single year. And so far I'm doing well, but man, Persona 3, have to give that one a slot on my top 10 favorite games for sure. Number 7 is a Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Now, it might be disappointing for some people. I know there are some Sekiro lovers that's their favorite FromSoft game. That's their favorite game ever. It's harder for me to put it up there because I played so many other FromSoft games. Bloodborne and Elden Ring are still my top tier. Also, Dark Souls 3, it's there as well. I will give that one its slot and appreciation. But Sekiro is right there in that tier as well. It was an outstanding time. It was incredibly difficult. Incredibly difficult game. I did beat it. I beat that final boss. I cheesed the demon of hatred, or whatever the fuck his name was. After that final boss, I was done. That final boss took a few years of my life, my real life, off of me. It was very stressful, and yes, extremely rewarding, but it didn't feel this was the least satisfying FromSoft game to get through. It was extremely hard, and it was a slog to get through. I hear when you play through it the second time, that's where the real love and appreciation for the game comes, but I was so exhausted through my first playthrough. I didn't have it in me to get back to it. I wanted to, but I couldn't do it. Just didn't have it in me. It took so much out of me to beat it, but I loved it, man. The combat is so freaking good. The boss fights so memorable. That great ape dude, wow. Even though I've watched that fight a zillion times and heard it and saw it in a million videos online, when I experienced it, it was just wow. One of the greatest bosses ever for me. That thing was insane. So freaking fun. Sekiro was amazing. That was such an amazing time, but it's lower on my list because of how fucking hard it was and how much it took out of me. Like, yeah. So that hurts it, but man, it was amazing. Don't get me wrong. Up next, number 6 is Final Fantasy 16. Definitely in the argument for one of my favorite Final Fantasies of all time. I love the mature rating. I love the characters. Clive was outstanding. The combat was super fun. One of the funnest combats in Final Fantasy, especially of this new genre where it's like kind of on the fly and all that shit. Really enjoyed the combat. All the summons and everything. Epic fucking moments in this game. So many epic moments. I remember when I have a full review. Okay, sorry. There are full reviews, I believe, on Dave the Diver, Persona 3, Sekiro, Final Fantasy 16. There's full reviews on this podcast this year. So if you want me like more in depth, go check out the full episodes, please and thank you. That would be awesome. But Final Fantasy 16, dude, I remember when I did the review for that, the list of moments was so filled in. Like, there was just so many moments that I was like, I gotta write. That was amazing. Game is filled with it. It was awesome. If you haven't checked out Final Fantasy 16, I personally have been, like, I've been holding off on, like, Rebirth and everything. I wanted to play 16 first. Even though I probably should have waited because I played Final Fantasy VII, the remake. I should have just went to the second part. Regardless, I didn't want to over Final Fantasy myself and play Rebirth this year as well. So I gave Final Fantasy 16 the year. I was like, you're my Final Fantasy this year, baby. It's all you. And it shined. I loved it. I will have to like kind of do a retrospective and some internal thinkings and be like, yo, what is my favorite Final Fantasy? Because 16 really has made me think. All right, up next, number 5, another big RPG, turn-based RPG, and this one kind of, I couldn't believe how much I fell in love with it, but it's Yakuza Like a Dragon, dude. So I played the first Yakuza, Kiwame, last year, and I really liked it. Really liked it, but didn't love the game. At the end of it, left a bad taste in my mouth because the final mission was just fucking atrocious. It was so rough. It was so bad to get through. But this game is RPG style, turn-based, and it is goofy as hell. The Yakuza games are more serious, but this one takes a very funny twist. You got a new guy, Ichiban. Instantly fell in love with this guy. This guy is like, wow, what a man. What a man. That's just, dude, if you know Ichiban, like, that's the homie, man. He's not even real, but he's one of the best characters ever, man. I love him. I love the gameplay. The classes are so ridiculous. Like, you got a homeless man, you got like a dominatrix woman, you got breakdancing dudes, you got chefs. Like, it's very funny, it's very over the top, but it's also serious and seriously like heartwarming and heartbreaking. Like, there's a great story to this game as well, and so much to do. Oh my goodness, the side stuff you can do it's so fun. That's why I spent over 90 hours in this game this year, and again, really had to like rear myself back to not get into the next Like a Dragon game, because I was like, don't oversaturate yourself, take your time, play. I'm trying to do one a year so I don't overload myself, but I am eyeing up Infinite Wealth so hard. I'm like, I see you, baby. I cannot wait to get there. But dude, Like a Dragon was so freaking fun. I loved that game. So freaking good. All right, up next is the one that may make some people upset because it is a DLC, but it's the greatest DLC ever made, period. It's Shadow of the Erdtree from Elden Ring. Goddamn. And I did not beat that final boss. I did not do it. I couldn't do it. I did not go back. I heard there was a update where they made him easier. I have not gone back to do it. I'm good, man. He beat me. That's all there really is to it. He beat me. And he were better than me, so there it is. But that fucking DLC, dude, for $40, what a baggin'. It was a 40-plus hour DLC with numerous new bosses and, wow, a whole new area to explore. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. I'm not a DLC guy, but this was a FromSoft video game. Like, it's bigger than Dark Souls. It's bigger than, like, your Dark Souls games. It was amazing, man. It was so fun going back, and the only drawback is, like, you do have to, in classic FromSoft fashion, you have to do a bunch of shit, before you can actually get into the DLC. But that was really fun, revisiting Elden Ring again and doing some of those fights again. I was like, oh my goodness, I had to pull myself back. I was like, yo, I might just go through Elden Ring again. I was like, I already gave it 200 hours and I'm doing the DLC. So yeah, dude, the DLC was freaking phenomenal. It was hard as hell, sort of. I mean, I didn't really have a problem until the final boss, but like, damn, dude, that final boss is insane. But number 4 is Shadow of the Erdtree. We get to the top 3. Oh my goodness. Number 3 is Resident Evil 4 Remake. Oh my goodness. Resident Evil 4, one of my favorite games of all time, and now they've remade it, and that one's now one of my favorite games of all time. They nailed it. Absolutely nailed it, where it was just different enough that I was, where I thought I was, even right off the bat, man, I was like, some things are different already. I feel uncomfortable, and I didn't feel safe, so I was like, yes, this is perfect. I'm familiar enough, but still scared, and dude, the gameplay, the look of it, just wow. My only disappointment with Resident Evil 4 was the what do you call them? The regenerators, the is that what they call? Is that what they're called? The Iron Maidens and stuff like that. They weren't as scary as the originals. They made them kind of goofy looking. They gave them big bums and stuff like that. But yeah, they weren't as scary as I wanted them to be. So, but other than that, man, it is an unfreaking believable video game. We are feasting on Resident Evil right now, man. And like I said, this was the year of Resident Evil for me. I played 3 or 4 Resident Evil games this year, and I wanted to play so many more. There's going to be many more Resident Evils to play. There's a lot I haven't played yet, but man, Remake, another one. I had to be like, yo, I immediately after beating it, I wanted to play it again. I was like, we got to move on. We got to get to the next thing, but I will be coming back to Resident Evil 4 numerous times. We go now to the final 2. These 2 duked it out. It was a battle until it wasn't, until the winner really just kind of dominated, and it's a without question winner. But my favorite video game of the year, runner-up, is Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. This game finally hooked me. Same story as Witcher 3. It took a few tries. I knew I was going to like it. It was a timing thing, and I finally timed it correctly, and Metal Gear Solid 5 hit so good. The gameplay, it's the best Metal Gear Solid gameplay ever. It's arguably, if like, I haven't played some of the new Hitman, but I would say Metal Gear Solid 5, best stealth gameplay out there. It was so fun, so varied. The amount of weapons you can do, like, oh my goodness, the building up of Mother Base was so fun. The only thing is, like, yeah, the story, it's probably the weakest story of the series. Like, wasn't really feeling Snake in this one. It wasn't for me there, but the gameplay was so freaking strong. That's how strong the gameplay is, that it knocked out, Resident Evil 4. Like, I just had such a blast with Metal Gear Solid 5's gameplay. Admittedly, I'm a stealth guy. I know stealth isn't for a lot of people. I'm a big stealth guy. So finally getting this one to hit after years of hearing numerous podcasts and so many videos just being like, oh, Metal Gear Solid 5, that story sucks, but that gameplay, one of the best ever. And I'm like, I know, I need to get back to it, and I did, and it was freaking awesome. And the fact you can get this game for like $5, like, it's insane. Play Metal Gear Solid 5 for the gameplay at least. It's insanely fun. And yes, the beginning is a little long and slow. Get through it, and you will thank me later. It's insanely good. All right, and the winner, it's a little bit obvious maybe at this point, but the winner, my favorite game of the year, it comes in late, but man, did it ever freaking leave an imprint, and that is God of War Ragnarok. It's undeniably might be the greatest game I've ever played. It's so freaking good. With Valhalla slapped on top of that, like, damn, what a fucking video game. God of War Ragnarok, dude, the story, unbelievable. And the way that they are able to keep you engaged with the story throughout the adventure is incredible. The characters, Odin, Thor, Tyr, Kratos, Atreus, Mimir, Fucking everybody, dude. Every character made a huge impact. The gameplay was outstanding. It just got better and better. I was turned off a little bit, honestly, at first, but the more you unlock, the more you understand, the more you play with it. And even playing Valhalla made me appreciate it even more because it lets you focus in on certain aspects of the combat. And you're like, oh, and it makes me want to go back and play it again. And there's just so much to do, and there's no wasted space. It's beautiful. The story is beautiful. It's wow, what a game. Jeez, these are the kind of games that I wouldn't mind PlayStation just letting everybody play it. Put it on Xbox, put it everywhere, let everybody experience these games, because oh my goodness, dude, it is ridiculous. My jaw dropped numerous times. The story blew my mind. I was so engaged with it, and the twists and the turns and the heartbreak. Ooh, oh my goodness. So yeah, dude, it's undeniably my favorite game of the year. God of War Ragnarok. It hit everything. It's a 10 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it is a masterpiece video game. Masterpiece. Absolutely ridiculous. Got a full review on that sumbitch, and probably, I got Resident Evil 4 reviews. I'm pretty sure I got an episode on pretty much everything except for this War of Mine, because I've talked about it so much in my intros to every one of these episodes that it's at its time. So holy crap, everybody, what a freaking year. What an amazing year this was. And again, I recommend you do this with me. Track the games that you play, write them all down on a list on your phone, on your whatever. Keep a list, check it twice. Better find out if you're naughty or nice. Santa. Anyway, sorry, different day. But keep a list of the games that you play and, rate them if you want to on a scale of 1 to 10. And then it's nice to go back and just be like, man, I remember playing Resident Evil in freaking January, kicking off the year like that. That was so fun. And there was my my Final Fantasy kick was right there. And it's really fun, man. And I love tracking stuff like this. It's really fun for me. So yeah, I would recommend you all do that. And of course, let me know what your favorite games of the year were. It doesn't matter what game, just whatever game you played this year, whatever game stuck out the most to you, let me know what that game was and recommend them to me. Take any of these games that I talked about, they all come at my highest recommendations. Give one a shot. If you gave any of these games a shot, let me know. Did you enjoy it? If you take any of my recommendations and they hit, please let me know, because that's one of the most satisfying things about being a gamer is when you let someone know about a game and they're like, oh, I never heard of that, I'll give it a shot, and they come back to you and you're like, that changed my life. It changed my life, and that's a great feeling. So yeah, that was a fun-ass year, bro. I'm already off onto 2025, where I'm already on to 2 games for 2025, so we're off to a good start. I feel like 60 games is a lot to play in 1 year. I didn't finish every game. There's 3 games I didn't finish, which, it hurts me because I don't like doing that. I don't like dropping games, but it is what it is. So let me know, how many games did you play? What's your favorite system? For me, it was my PlayStation system, my PS5. That's where I played the majority of my games, but I love my Xbox and love my Switch, of course. It's just my Switch is... I'm really dedicated. I've been pushing myself already for 2025. Got to play more of the big hitting Switch titles. I've been kind of hoarding them and saving them for I don't know when. Hopefully, I guess 2025. This will be the year, hopefully, for my big Switch titles that I need to get to. I have quite a backlog building here on Switch, so I want to put more time into Switch. And yeah, so there we go, everybody. 2024. That was like a 9 out of 10 year. I had so much fun with the games that I played this year. I'm becoming more of a horror gamer. I'm getting into more horror games, and it's a lot of fun. So thank you, everyone. If you came on this adventure with me this year, or you're new here, welcome. Get into it, and let's have a lot of fun here with video games. That's what we're all about, just appreciating and loving video games. And yeah, man, what a blast. Can't wait to get into 2025. I have no idea what I'm doing with it yet, but hopefully it's another big fun year for us here at the GX Plus cast. And happy holidays, everybody, and hopefully everything's been good. Let me know what video games you got for Goodness and what games you got for Boxing Day. I'll let you know what I got for Boxing Day right now, as I picked up quite a lot, actually, for Boxing Day. I got Alan Wake 2, I got Kill Knight, I got fucking, what's the weird one I got? Grim Fandango Remastered, picked that up on Switch for $5. What else did I get? I think that's it. I think that's everything that I got. Anyway, it was awesome, man. I had a blast, had a great holiday. Hopefully, again, you're having a great holiday. Holidays aren't always awesome for everybody, so if you're not having an awesome holiday, like, hit me up, man. Like, I got email, I got YouTube. If you're having a rough time, that's hopefully what these podcasts are here for, to help cheer you up when times suck. So if times suck, it'll get better. It'll get better at some point. Don't worry. We've all been there. It does get better at some point. So hopefully everyone can have a merry holiday, whatever the heck you're doing. So be awesome. And hey, you want to be the most awesome? Like the podcast. Review it for me. Hit me with whatever stars you think I deserve. I'm not going to beg for 5 stars. If I don't earn it, give me an honest review. That would be very appreciated. And just let me know how I can improve. I'm trying, whatever. I'm a one-man army over here, so there's not a lot of time for me to, analyze what's wrong with me or anything. But regardless, I will try my best now to cut off the rambling. Thank you so much for listening or watching. I upload all these episodes to YouTube, and you can watch them over there and drop comments. I'd love to answer questions live on the podcast. Just send them on in. That would be great. And can't wait for 2025, y'all. It's going to be awesome, and thank you all so much for listening to the GX Plus cast. Can't wait to see y'all or let you hear me in 2025. Regardless, I'm getting out of here. Merry, happy holiday and all that great stuff. We'll be back with some out. GX Plus.